Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Film Freaks.
Yes, the show for film fun and all things entertainment.
I'm Jesse Galan.
I'm Avi Flores.
And today we're going to talk about Tenet.
Yes, awesome. Another Christopher Nolan gem. So let's get into this whole reverse time travel goodness that we got. Serverable. All right, so you saw it twice, Jay. I saw it once, just yesterday, and we both really enjoyed the film. Jesse got to understand it a little more than I did because obviously he got to see it twice. So, what were your initial thoughts on this take on time travel?
All right. Well, to be honest, the first time I went to go see it, I went to the IMAX experience through AMC, and it was, to be honest, it was a craptacular experience. And I say that because I felt like the stadium that I was sitting in, the theater wasn't properly calibrated. It was extremely loud. It was sharp noises. It was hard to hear. And I had some issues understanding the dialogue.
Right.
And so a lot of that brought to the reason why I saw it a second time. Yeah, I was really distracted. But even within that, I felt like I enjoyed the action. I mean, some of the technicalities behind some of those shots and seeing the reverse things and like everything that happened, it was jaw dropping. And for that reason is the reason why I decided to join to watch it with you the second time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think taking a concept of time travel, which is nothing new, but the way Christopher Nolan put a spin on that with the whole inverted thing.
Because I was inverted.
It was really awesome. It totally changed. And then it wasn't just inverted in the way they did it, but like the laws of physics that kind of went with how the effects of being inverted.
Because I was inverted.
And all that was really cool. So it wasn't just something they just threw on film. You know, there was like these certain rules and stuff that happened that how it affected things. And it gets a little complex in there, but early on, I do like that they just tell you, like, don't try and understand it.
I think honestly that was the best part.
Yeah.
And I am going to throw a little shade. I think that their time to traveling experience or how they tried to explain it was way better than Endgame. Endgame was like, everything, just throw it out the window. Don't try to explain it. And we're just going to mess everything up. At least that's how I felt with their time traveling thing. With this one, they kind of give you an understanding, and it's not really time traveling; it's time reversing. Mm-hmm. So they're just happen to be moving forward backwards, which is like, huh? Right. Exactly. So I thought that was pretty clever that they don't physically. It's not really time traveling; they're just moving forward in reverse that causes them to travel. Yeah, I don't know. It sounds confusing as it sounds. So. Yeah. But I thought it was still great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. The sequences are really cool. Just seeing how certain things, like once you start understanding, because there was some stuff that was happening backwards that you don't really get it yet until later on in the film, and then stuff starts to kind of click for you. Like, oh, okay, then this is what's going on. And I did get, especially like towards the end, I was getting a little lost in like what was inverted
because I was inverted
and what wasn't, and when they decided to do it, and all like it was hard to kind of like separate it all for me to really understand everything that was going on. But like the movie was still really good that it didn't really like take away from it, because if it would have been a crappy movie on top of that, then you're really like, well, I really don't really understand what's going on. And then the movie was bad on top of that, like then it just really tanks. But I really did just, and I think the overall arc of the story and what they're trying to accomplish still like flows through the movie, even if you're not really understanding which way they're inverting and when they're inverting and all that. Like if you can't really follow along with that, the plot of the movie and what they're trying to accomplish still is, it's still flowing through the movie. So yeah, because I got a little lost with the plutonium thing, and then with them talking about weapons, and then then they start hopping in and out of these machines, and then it's them that they were fighting each other, and it's like, what the heck is going on? But it was really good. I liked the whole idea of using this whole inverted thing, to their advantage, trying to stop this guy from literally like obliterating, time and space.
Yeah, essentially is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so as we're going to get into more detail and more spoilers of the film, like for me, one of the things that I missed out, which I was curious whether you caught, was the guy that at the very beginning of the movie, the opera, the guy that saves the protagonist, he inverted a bullet and killed the guy. Remember when he was Washington's character was being gunned, and then
he was kind of
caught, and the bullet just went backwards, and you see the guy running. That was actually Robert Pattinson's character, and the only way that you're even able to notice that is that for a half a second they showed the little ring string that was attached to the backpack, and I thought that was kind of clever. Mm-hmm. That at the very beginning he was always a part of it, but you don't realize it, and they kind of hinted that again a second time towards the end, and then it just all makes sense. Mm-hmm. And to me,
that conversation of like, I'll see you in the beginning, and you're the one that recruited me, and blah blah blah.
Like, this is my end, but see you at the beginning. Yeah. And then to me, that was kind of like a visual metaphor of how the movie operates. It's no linear. It's like 4 different stories simultaneously happening, not only like in a parallel, but in different time periods too. So I don't know. To me, I think it just sat well with me. Mm-hmm. For whatever reason, it just clicks in my head. I just understand it, and I thought it was pretty clever. I thought it was pretty cool.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And I feel the opposite about Endgame with what Tenet did for me, because I really didn't understand anything that was going on with Tenet, but because I enjoyed the movie, like, it didn't really matter to me. And I feel like that's the same case with Endgame. Like, I really didn't need to fully understand what was going on because I enjoyed the movie so much. Right. So, and like Tenet, I feel like Tenet reinforced that for me, because it was, and what I will say the big difference was, though, that with Tenet, they really got into a lot of like mathematics and physics, mm-hmm. and trying to like explain all this and
the paradox.
And yeah, exactly. And the two main characters would talk about it and try to, and so it was more like complex. Because it really was. I mean, the whole idea of inversion and all that, like, it's more than just hopping from one time to the other. So, like, but my whole point of just, like, being able to be like, okay, whatever you guys are talking about, I really don't need to get it. I just know that I was enjoying what you guys are giving me.
And I guess, even with all that conversation, I felt like a lot of that conversation was led more to those who understand physics and mm-hmm. are, like, into the theory and like, the grandfather paradox and all those who dabble that I think that was more little nuances for them, for that group of people. But what I really enjoyed about this film is that in reality, in its simple form, it's almost like a heist within a heist. They call it the pincher move in the movie. Mm-hmm. So, with time manipulation or reversing or whatever you want to call it, it was set up so that it starts, what you're watching is technically, when you first start watching, is the middle of the movie. Right. And when you watch the end of the movie is almost like the beginning. Yeah. And it's very confusing but when you watch the movie, it makes sense because of time traveling. Mm-hmm. And so I just thought, I was like, man, that's really clever how everything was just aligned. And it reminded me of Memento, how the story was in his, in Christopher Nolan's, one of his earlier films, and then involved Inception with some of the visual effects in the reverse
explosions
and all that stuff, and then James Bond. Yeah, and then cool. I'll even go as far as saying The Prestige with the little tricks, because the whole thing about the hand is quicker than the eye, and so like you'll have those moments whereas like the hand is quicker than the eye, and there's certain things you didn't catch until the very end. Mm-hmm. So I thought it was a culmination of all of his movies put together and make this. To me, I think it was a masterpiece.
It was really good. The only problem I had was the villain guy, because they really don't dabble too much on like why he's so. I mean, they say he's dying, right? But he just stumbles upon like some inverted material, and then like he just is harvesting it all, trying to get this algorithm, and then they talk about the people in the future. Like, I don't know, I feel like if it was a really big threat, there should have been more effort into stopping this guy who's like, instead of just this little group of people,
Right.
you know. So I don't know, just that's the only part that didn't like completely like, well, like what, why was this guy, and he just happened to stumble upon this stuff, and then he just went on this journey to, I'm gonna destroy everything because I'm dying. I mean, did he know he was dying early on in his life, or you know what I mean, like, or was this just like a split decision once he got diagnosed or something? So that was the only thing. But usually, you know, bad guys just want to watch the world burn anyways.
I know what you did there.
So you know, but it just kind of, that was the only thing really that I would, because everything else, you know, was just
Right.
It was really good. I love the acting, and I heard that the main guy from the movie, that they want to cast him for a Green Lantern role. So I was reading on that, and then obviously we got Robert Pattinson coming up as Batman. So it was really good to see him in something else. I think this is the first movie of his I ever watched, honestly, because I've never watched a Twilight movie. So it was really good to see him in a role that I didn't even think of him in that way, because he just played such a good role in what he was doing throughout the whole film. Like, both of the lead characters, they did such an awesome job. So
No, and that's good that you bring that up, because I feel like with Pattinson, there was a lot of mixed reviews prior to the trailer of Batman, but he's such a great actor, an underrated actor. And unfortunately, you know, by doing it's like bittersweet, right? It's a double-edged sword. Because of Twilight, he is a household name, you know, but at the same time, it's not the greatest movie to actually watch. And honestly, a lot of people blame the actor, but a lot of it also has to do with the director and how the director directs the actors. And you know, I don't feel like when people say, "Oh, Pattinson this and Pattinson that," they're always referencing the shining vampire. But he has a plethora of movies that I feel like are really good, and to me solidify that he was already a great actor. This is the first time that I really got to see him in an action film where I really enjoyed it, and I completely forgot about it, like you said, like all the other movies that I've watched of him, especially Twilight. It like erased it. So I'm glad, and yes, I am admitting that I did watch Twilight. So you know, I'm really glad, and it even excited me even more for his next project.
Yeah, absolutely. So bravo to Christopher Nolan, because I watched Dunkirk. I've seen all his Batman trilogy and Inception and all that. So I think he's a fantastic director. His movies are always solid, and he can notch another one to the list with Tenet. So, you know, right? Yeah. So those are our thoughts. Anything else you want to add to this discussion on?
No, I think that it was all awesome, and let's reverse this and have you guys let us know questions or your comments about the film.
Yeah, this is one of those that you can watch multiple times and really talk a lot about, because it was just that good of a film. So let us know what you guys think. Thanks, guys. Peace. See you.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching our episode.
Yeah, if you liked our video, go ahead and give us a thumbs up.
And if you didn't, you can double click on the thumbs down. Otherwise, don't forget to subscribe, comment, share, and like.
Right on. And check us out on our other social media outlets at Instagram and Twitter. And please tweet us at FF Media News.
Or you can engage with us through our email at ffmedianews@gmail.com.
All right. Thanks, guys.